Jake Paul has reignited his feud with Conor McGregor, throwing down yet another challenge after his headline-grabbing victory over boxing legend Mike Tyson, but this time things have taken an interesting twist. Paul leaked the detail that could put McGregor in a tough spot, potentially making him look bad if he doesn't step up. However, the former UFC champion isn't going down quietly. He's thrown out a brutal condition that Jake Paul must meet if the fight is to happen. For fans wondering about Jake Paul's next move, the YouTuber-turned-boxer made a surprising admission: a fight with Conor McGregor is highly unlikely. Despite labeling McGregor his dream opponent, Paul admitted during an interview that there are multiple barriers preventing the matchup, including McGregor's tight contract with the UFC and Dana White. But Paul didn't stop there. He confidently suggested that the real reason the fight hasn't materialized is that McGregor knows he would lose. Bold words, but not entirely unexpected given Paul's knack for stirring the pot. Since stepping into the boxing world, Jake Paul has been relentless in calling out the Irish MMA star, repeatedly declaring McGregor as the ultimate opponent he wants to face in the ring. Yet despite Paul's provocations and the buzz he's created, McGregor hasn't bitten. Instead, Paul claims that McGregor's UFC obligations are a convenient excuse, hinting that the Irishman is dodging him out of fear of losing. When pressed on whether he still dreams of facing McGregor, Jake's response was as fiery as ever: "Yeah, he'll never do that, though he knows he's not his own boss. It's easy to say Conor McGregor doesn't want to fight Jake Paul, but it's the F in truth. Look at him go toe with Nate Diaz, who was easy work for me, and it was like a Monday sparring session." If Jake Paul's words are anything to go by, he's as confident as ever in his ability to take down McGregor, but McGregor hasn't stayed silent. The Irishman, known for his sharp tongue and unfiltered opinions, weighed in on Paul's recent fight with Tyson, delivering a scathing critique during a live stream: "I hope Mike rattles the little dope. No one gives a f about him. How is that even in the EFF and Dallas Stadium?" While McGregor hasn't officially ruled out a boxing comeback after his MMA career, he's made it clear that a fight with Jake Paul isn't high on his priority list. For now, it seems like a hypothetical showdown rather than a concrete possibility, and yet Jake Paul isn't giving up. The situation escalated the morning after McGregor's comments, when Paul took to Twitter claiming that McGregor's team had already entertained the idea of a fight. However, McGregor allegedly added a shocking condition: Jake would have to drop down to 175 pounds, a weight class that Paul has never fought in. Given his current status in the heavyweight division, the demand raised eyebrows, but it also revealed something intriguing: McGregor might actually be open to the idea of fighting Paul, just not on Paul's terms. This revelation begs the question: is McGregor afraid of Jake Paul at heavyweight? On paper, it's a mismatch: McGregor, a decorated MMA fighter with years of experience in the octagon, versus Paul, a brash newcomer who many still see as an influencer dabbling in boxing. But if McGregor loses, it's not just a blow to his ego, it's a win that would skyrocket Paul's credibility in combat sports. While Paul's recent win over Tyson was a massive career milestone, it wasn't without controversy. Critics have questioned the legitimacy of the fight, pointing to the glaring 31-year age gap between the two fighters. Some fans even booed Paul during the later rounds, accusing him of playing it safe instead of going for the knockout. Even his own corner was caught on camera criticizing his lack of aggression, urging him to finish the fight in spectacular fashion. Paul, however, defended his approach after the bout, explaining his decision not to chase the knockout: "I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt." This statement, while perhaps noble, only added fuel to the fire for skeptics who question Paul's intentions in the sport. Was he genuinely showing respect for Tyson, or was he trying to avoid a risky exchange that could have him get knocked out? But let's not forget the bigger picture. If Paul's team has indeed accepted McGregor's proposed terms in principle, the ball is now in McGregor's court. A fight with Jake Paul isn't just about settling a feud, it's about legacy, reputation, and proving who's truly the better man. For McGregor, declining the fight could be seen as a sign of weakness, especially when he's branded himself as one of the toughest competitors in combat sports. At the same time, agreeing to the fight comes with its own risks. A loss to Paul would be a devastating blow to McGregor's legacy, tarnishing his career in the eyes of fans and critics alike. It's a high-stakes game, and both men know it. Jake's boxing journey has been anything but conventional, and by now he's squared off against some big names from the UFC. Let's start with Ben Askren. Back in 2021, this fight was a significant step for Jake, because it marked his first matchup against a professional fighter. Even if Azrin was retired. Azrin, an Olympic mixed martial art artist, seemed like a big leap in competition for Jake, but when the bell rang, Jake didn't just win, he made it look easy. He knocked Azrin out in the very first round of their April bout, and here's the kicker: Jake claimed the fight pulled in a whopping $65 million. Whether you believe those numbers or not, it was another W for Jake's growing boxing resume. Fast forward to 2023 and Jake was back in action against Nate Diaz, a former UFC fan favorite. Known for his toughness, they faced off in a 10-round boxing match in Dallas, Texas on August 5. Right out of the gate, Jake came in hot. He landed some big punches early, and for a moment it looked like Diaz might not make it past the first round, but Diaz, being the crafty and durable fighter he is, weathered the storm. By round 5, Jake landed a monster left hook that sent Diaz to the canvas easily. The highlight of the fight. From that point, Jake was cruising on the scorecards, and all he had to do was hang on. Even when Diaz turned up the heat in the later rounds, Jake held his ground. In the end, he won by unanimous decision, with the judges scoring at 97-92, 98-991 and 98-991. It was a crucial win for Jake, especially after his earlier loss to Tommy Fury in 2023. This fight showed he wasn't just a sideshow, he was improving and himself as a legitimate boxer. Now let's rewind to Tyron Woodley, another huge chapter in Jake's story. Their first fight in 2021 was loaded with drama, trash talk, and even a hilarious bet where the loser had to get a tattoo declaring their love for the winner. Jake edged out Woodley with a split decision victory after going the full 8 rounds, but Jake wasn't satisfied. He wanted that knockout, and as fate would have it, got his chance in the rematch. Initially, Jake was supposed to fight Tommy Fury next, but an injury sidelined Fury at the last minute. So in December 2021, Jake and Woodley squared off again. This time Jake left no doubts. He delivered a brutal 6th-round knockout, finally giving himself the decisive victory he craved. Then came Anderson Silva in October 2022, arguably the biggest test of Jake's career at the time. Silva, a Brazilian MMA legend, brought years of experience and skill into the ring. Even at 47 years old, Jake had predicted he'd stop Silva before the 5th round, but Silva proved to be a tough opponent. They went the full 8 rounds, with Jake ultimately winning by unanimous decision. This fight was a milestone for Jake, solidifying his ability to hang with a combat sports icon. The question remains, is Jake Paul genuinely a threat to McGregor, or is this just another publicity stunt designed to keep both their names in the headlines? One thing is certain: if this fight ever happens, it will be one of the most talked about events in combat sports history. But until then, all eyes are on McGregor to see if he'll take the bait or walk away. What do you think? Will McGregor finally step up to face Jake Paul, or is this feud destined to remain a war of words? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our other videos for more updates on this ongoing saga.